Hello and welcome back, everyone. We are just about to jump into episode 2 of Beyond Blue. If you did miss out on the first episode, you can find it in the playlist. And of course, as I mentioned, this is an open world exploration game, very peaceful, and I kind of like just the overall aspect of it. But let's go ahead and dive back in, and we'll pick up where we left off. And we'll be going into our second dive. And of course, we have the ability to replay regions, which we might do because we did miss a few of the uh, scanning of creatures, I'm sure. But let's go ahead and continue with the mission.
Day 2, back to the atoll at sunset. The hydrophone feeds are alive with the sounds of whales. Gonna find me some singers. I'm excited to test Andra's new Manta drone. Kinda like the Swiss Army knife of stealth drones. I'd love to spend the whole dive hanging out with baby Andrea, but miles to swim before I sleep. Ready to dive.
Let's dive in.
I'm in and okay.
Looking good, Mirai. The Manta drone is ready for its first zoom scan.
Now I get to see why you talk about it so much.
Only the best science for you.
And of course, we can go back to scanning some of these. And of course, we have our sharks over here. Ooh, it's a white tip reef shark. And we're not going to rush through. We're going to try to scan as much as we can. Oh, not what I wanted to scan, but okay. What is this little dot? What are you? Ooh, it's a royal angelfish. As always, there's a lot to scan here, but I want to see, like, once we scan all the sharks, what it unlocks for us. We've got some of their behaviors unlocked, as you can see popping up in the corner. It's just so peaceful. That's one of the reasons I like this game, is there's really so much to see. You can just swim around, get lost, and enjoy just some nice calming music. And even the playlists that they have, like on your sub, whenever you go back to it, are excellent. And more of a unique, like, indie music versus a lot of what you see in other game titles. It looks like we've got all the sharks, so we'll try to swim out of here and maybe head towards our objective. And along the way, we'll scan anything we come across, like this manta ray. As we go, we unlock more and more. And I'm planning on making these episodes
Buoy ahead.
about 30
Bet
minutes.
we'll find some whale vocalizations.
Well, I'm not taking that bet. You always find whales. You'd find them in your bathtub.
What kind of bathroom do you think I have?
Let's do our scan here to start kind of what we need to do.
This is a lot of whales.
It's staggering the number migrating through this area.
Hey, don't jinx it.
And off we go. So we're gonna go to this one first, because it's just right here off the edge.
It's our sperm whale family again.
Oh, and now it's wanting us to scan.
The manta drone will match speed with the creature so you can concentrate on steering it around to find the places you need to focus.
Oh, there we go.
All right, baby. We won't forget you now.
And we're looking at the markings because each marking is unique on a whale. And it's used to identify them in the future.
Andre, can the zoom scan tell how old the baby is?
Not with any certainty. Why?
Just wondering if she's old enough to hunt by herself. I wondered. She still seems pretty young to go that deep.
Will she be okay alone while her mother dives?
She should follow the pod. Her aunties will babysit while the mother hunts.
Wish I had them when my daughter was born.
Takes a pod.
Mirai, why is the baby girl so important to your study?
I'm hoping to follow the baby for years to learn from her as she learns from her family, and hopefully to watch her eventually become a mother herself.
It's actually a really interesting concept. Like, just the overall feel of the game. Granted, it's not like the most unique thing in the world, but it's different than just going out and trying to like survival games like Subnautica or other diving games that are more geared towards action, I guess is the best way to put it. This one is very calming. It's easy to get lost. And if you are interested in wildlife sciences whatsoever, it can really give you an
Here
idea
we
of
are.
what
The
a
whale
marine
we're
biologist
designating
goes through.
Humpback M1. Oh, so catchy.
We'll come back here and scan the tail.
How will you know it's M1 when you see it again?
Each humpback's fluke is unique.
So M1 it is.
Andre's software is helping me understand the structure of their songs so we can try singing back.
More like playing back. I'll synthesize a song that mirrors one from another region to see how these whales react.
Because Andre doesn't like my singing.
It's more the songs you sing, actually.
And of course, with marine biology, it is very important. Obviously, these reefs and these images, like the game itself, even though it is accurate with like behaviors and things like that, the reefs and stuff are not necessarily 100% like realistic. They're not nearly as populated as they are in real life in some areas. Granted, every area is a little bit different. But as the world changes, our environments in the ocean change as well. So this could be what it looks like in some areas, but not the more common image that comes to mind whenever we think of a coral reef or a reef at all. But the world changes as the oceans warm up, or as pollution becomes more of a problem, so on and so forth. Life will adapt to it to an extent, but how that looks is obviously going to be dependent on a lot of factors. Reminds me of some of the documentaries that, well, I guess they're not necessarily documentaries, more like mockumentaries from Discovery, where it's like, what would the world look like in 10 million years? Where evolution of animals have changed, the environment itself has fully changed. Can't remember the name of it, but they also did one like on an alien planet how the ecosystem would be different than
Approaching
ours.
Humpback M2. Looks like he's on a date.
How can you tell?
It's like they're dancing to his song.
But if I can remember what it's called, I will add that name in somewhere on the screen while we're talking about it. Granted, it's all hypothetical,
What do you think, Andre? Do you think he can
but
make
it could
as a
happen.
solo artist?
Not without more original material.
What?
Males from the same region sing nearly identical songs with just enough variation to stand out.
Yeah, just like most pop singers.
Such a snob.
Just make sure I didn't miss anything. No, okay. Ooh, it looks like we have another whale shark over here. Oh no, we already scanned that one, never mind. But we didn't scan the remora. But I've always liked those like little weird documentaries, like what could life look like in the future or in the past, where they have scientific backing, but they're not 100% accurate, of course, because there's no easy way to know how things looked in the past, even with fossil records. How many times had we misidentified dinosaurs as something else, or put together a really weird
Let's keep the
skeleton
whale
because we
looking
didn't know
as it
how it went
continues.
together?
Wonder if they charge admission.
Don't worry. Whatever it is, you can take it from my budget.
Someone's feeling better today.
There's a lot that goes into just
I guess
wildlife
it worked.
conservation
I've got
and
some
studies.
nasty noise.
The same damn sound we heard yesterday.
Well, I'll check it out between the whales.
Let's see. Let's go this way first since it's a little bit closer. And of course, scan anything along the way. I do apologize if I sound a little stuffy. My allergies are pestering me quite a bit today.
Looks like another area sensor.
Okay, Mirai. Can you use the microtags to mark the starfish for collection?
Are you testing your collector drone?
It's not a test. Irina needs us to collect a few for study.
They are incredibly resilient. They can regenerate themselves from just a subset of their body.
They're also invasive. Must have hitched a ride in the ballast of a ship.
Alright, so we gotta look for some starfish down here. But let's see how long it takes me to actually find them. Oh, there we go.
Irina, how many of these do you need? I'm missing the whales.
Just a few.
So far, so good. And our last ones to tag. Now, the game is very objective based.
Okay.
Yes, you are
microtags
free to
deployed.
explore and take as much
Thanks,
time as you
Mirai.
want,
That's plenty.
but it's going to give you an objective to go to every step of the way. Which is a nice kind of little guiding factor, but once you unlock like the free roam in the missions, you can always come back and explore it even more. So after I beat this mission, I can easily come back here from the sub and finish scanning anything I may have missed. Or just swim around relaxing in the music. And as I said, I am going to try to make all of these episodes about 30 minutes, although it might take a little bit longer to finish some of the missions. So those episodes might be a little bit longer. Especially if I get distracted and start scanning everything and not actually completing the objectives. Or if we do like a free dive. That might be interesting.
Are you sure this is where you track that noise? I don't know, Andre. That sound is loud, but it seems pretty deep. Can't see how it could be coming from a ship.
Yeah, I agree. It also keeps starting and stopping. I'll figure out another way to investigate it.
Easy enough. Ooh, looks like we got... I wonder if this is the same whale shark. Yep, it is. Doing circles. And then there's our two whale buddies. The white spotted pufferfish. I wonder if it will actually react if we get closer. It does not. How sad. That is one thing I've seen, like, looking over the reviews for this game. While it's not a bad game, there are some negative reviews in the fact that it's kind of empty, or some of the animals don't react as one would expect. And really, I mean, every animal is going to be a little bit different in the wild anyways. Some of them will react to a person swimming up to them, some of them won't. Or at least in the way we expect, like a pufferfish doesn't always puff up. You know, the normal sort of thing that people expect. We'll do another scan here with the hydrophones.
Andre, what was that other nasty noise? It was definitely digital.
Low power alarm. You need to pick up a sensor for servicing.
It never occurred to you that a nice ringtone would be far less annoying?
That, and of course, some of the banter gets kind of like, oh. Well, I mean, they had to add something in, or else it would just be swimming through the water. Hey, there's our dolphins again. And we get to scan this one. Oh, there we go. Ah, no.
I have colleagues that are studying the antimicrobial properties of these coral.
It's very interesting. Dolphins will do that in real life to clean their skin, is rubbing up against coral like that. Kind of like some birds. Some birds will land.
Please, get closer.
You weren't this excited about the dolphins before.
They're rubbing against the coral. Kind of a wellness visit.
And what I was going to say is some birds will actually land in nests of ants. And they spread their wings out. And the ants will come on and eat off all the dead skin and things like that. cleaning them up essentially. It's interesting how many animals in the wild have relationships like that with other plants and animals. Ah. No, stop turning. There we go. Sometimes. Oh, looks like we've got that one. How many more do we need for this area? Or did we finish it? Looks like we might have got it. Time to go see what the signal is. What is that? Blue-green damselfish. See if we've got this guy. We did, okay. So it wants us to dive down here and find a tracker.
Hey, Andre, those reef sharks like your ringtone. Will I be able to get the data off that sensor while I'm picking it up?
No, it goes to sleep when the power is low to preserve the data.
See enough? Oh.
Whoa! Did you see that?
Shame that wasn't on the live stream.
Have you seen one do that before?
Never! I'm picking up a tag from the sperm whale pod, pushing the waypoint now.
On my way.
But where did the octopus go? So what's everybody's favorite sea animal? I think mine would have to be
Sorry,
the
sharks.
Greenland shark.
Mirai is off the menu.
The Greenland shark is just such a cool species. Some of them have been recorded at, what, 400 plus years old?
The baby's back with the rest of the pod.
What's it doing?
Nuzzling. Probably calling for its mama. Are you calling for your mother?
The Greenland sharks are really interesting. Just in their overall, like, how they survive. They can live really
You've
long
got
times.
to be kidding me.
Yeah, I hear it!
There they go. That was our shot. Can you send the sub to pick me up? I'm done for now.
And then, of course, Greenland sharks. Most of them are blind due to parasite. So it's always been really interesting on what, like, how it works and their life cycle. And one day I hope to actually go to Greenland and see one. That would be amazing. And in my next video, maybe we'll watch a couple of these little short videos that are included in here, if anyone's interested. We did collect quite a few more species to add to our science log. If we click on them again, it gives us their scientific name, a little bit of information about them. And as we scan more, we can get more information. Like this one, we've unlocked the regions where you tend to find it. In this case, for our whale shark, you're going to find it in the sunlight zone, so towards the surface. And as we go through this, we will get to learn a little bit more about these species. Now this one we unlocked 3 things. So we have their name, their region, again, sunlight surface, and then of course some research archive information about it. One of the few sharks that doesn't rely on a ram ventilation, allowing it to stay perfectly motionless while still pumping water over its gills for oxygen. Unlike most sharks, where you actually have to keep moving, they get to sit still for a little while. Pretty interesting. We're not going to read through all of those right now. Maybe we'll kind of add those in. And then, of course, we get a little bit more information kind of scattered out as we go through to learn about different things. I did have to turn off the playlist, though, because the last video had like a minute and a half of the playlist coming through. So one thing that's cool about this game, if you decide to get it yourself and you do stream, it does have a creator mode, which turns off those playlists, just to make sure you don't get any of those flags. And as you can see here, we still have our models we can look at. So let's take a look at the sperm whale. And we can zoom around, kind of take a look at it, change its behaviors. I do like this feature. And then of course we can go to the science log and learn about it. And look, we've got a lot of points here. And then of course it tells you a little bit about kind of the in-game context. A17 here, they found him in a specific area which marked it as a possible breeding ground. The tags that are on them. Now I don't know if the actual tags look like this. Usually they're more of like a inserted sensor that falls off after some time. But you do have information here about some deceased whales. And this is all during a specific study period, 1925 to 1931. So some of it gives us a little bit more information than others. Now, of course, to wrap up this episode, we are going to take a look at the debrief after the dive. And this will help us progress the story.
Hey, it's Ren. Leave a message at the beep. Is there actually a beep? Hey, Ren, why's your phone off? You said this was a good time to call. Ignore that. Someone was messing with my whales today. I was just hoping I could vent to you a little. Let me know if there's any update about Nana. Ooh, and we had a whale-a-palooza today. Anyway, give me a call when you can. The whales say hi back.
Hey, Mirai. How are you?
Doing all right. How are you feeling? Any better?
A bit. I might finally be getting my sea legs.
Next step, diving.
One step at a time, Mirai.
Okay, but I promise you, it'll change your life.
But is it really a
Is Andre
step
with
if
you?
you're swimming?
No, just me. Andre is analyzing some sound files in the other lab. I think I may have upset him.
You upset him? Or that noise upset him? Because it certainly upset me.
He was overreacting, and I pointed it out.
I was not overreacting.
Andre, I didn't realize you were on. What did you find?
This is video and audio from your last dive. And this is an analysis of the sound that spooked the family. And this sound is from the Canadian marine acoustic scientist. I think the findings are pretty clear.
The signatures sound the same to me.
He gave me the same test.
Andre, who is messing with my whales?
Deep sea miners.
Here? In the research zone? It's off limits to commercial activity.
And when has that ever mattered before?
We don't know that they are in the research zone. They may be just outside it. We knew they were doing an impact study nearby.
What are they after? That might give us a clue.
They're looking for rare minerals to make solar panels.
Could the sound cause trauma to the whales?
The acoustic specialist said it might push them to quieter hunting grounds, but was unlikely to cause acoustic trauma.
So what's the move?
We should use our mapping drone to investigate their activity.
And this is where our debate turns into an argument. We need that drone to map the deep sea vents before Mirai dives there. The biochemistry of these vents is the perfect cocktail for creating new life forms.
If there is illegal activity there, we have to stop it. Otherwise, there will be no life forms.
Why spend our short time here policing rather than researching? Let's be scientists.
Mirai, your dive, your call.
This is one of those where it's very difficult to kind of balance between conservation and trying to protect these areas as well as getting the research. In this case, I am going to choose to investigate the miners because even though...
I'll dive in the vents without a map. Nobody messes with my whales.
But even though it's one of those where both are good alternatives, it's not going to lock us out of anything in the game. We will be able to continue along and do both objectives as we go through.
Hey, Mirai. Sorry I missed you. Misplaced my phone. Whale-a-palooza? Is that a real thing? Tell whomever annoyed you I'm coming for them. Hey, nobody messes with our whales. Does your submarine have sonar? Maybe you can find the bad guys with that. No word on Nana's thing yet. Miss you.
But that pretty much sums it up for this episode. Again, if you are enjoying this, definitely leave some comments below. Give me a like. If you want to see more of this, we'll go ahead and subscribe. I'm planning on finishing out this series in the next couple of weeks. It's a pretty short game. Maybe 4 or 5 episodes in the playlist, depending on how long each of these run. But again, thank you everybody for joining me, and I'll see you here next time in Deep Blue. Or sorry, Beyond Blue.